You know that feeling when something's off, but you can't quite put your finger on it? Like when you walk into a room and forget why you came in, except the room is your entire life, and the thing you forgot is that the people you love are plotting to kill you. Yeah, that was my Tuesday. Let me back up. My name's Thomas Brennan. I'm 67 years old, retired high school principal, married to Sarah for 41 years. We lived in a quiet suburb outside Boston. Nice house, paid off. Good retirement savings from 4 decades of dealing with teenagers and their drama. About $1.2 million between IRAs, 401k, and some smart investments Sarah helped me make over the years. Sarah was always a financial brain in our marriage. I handled the school board meetings and parent conferences. She handled our money. Made sense. She had a degree in accounting. Worked as a CPA before our daughter Emma was born. After that, she stayed home, did the books for a few small businesses on the side. Smart woman. Beautiful woman. Woman I trusted completely. That was my first mistake. Emma's our only child. Married to Marcus 3 years ago. Big wedding. $45,000. I paid for all of it because that's what fathers do, right? Marcus seemed decent enough. Investment banker, nice suits, firm handshake, call me sir. Sarah loved him. Emma was happy. That's all that mattered. Or so I thought. The party was Sarah's idea. Let's do a garden party, she said, for our anniversary. Nothing too fancy, just close friends and family. We deserve to celebrate. 41 years together. Yeah, we deserve to celebrate. So we planned it, hired a caterer, rented tables and chairs, strung up those white lights that make everything look magical. Invited about 50 people, colleagues, neighbors, Sarah's book club friends, Emma and Marcus obviously. And I hired a photographer, young woman named Jenna, who just started her business. Needed the work, charged reasonable rates, seemed eager to please. Perfect. The party was on a Saturday in June. Beautiful weather. Everything went perfectly. Sarah wore this blue dress that made her look 10 years younger. Emma helped with the decorations. Marcus worked the crowd, schmoozing with my old colleagues, making everyone laugh. I stood by the grill with my beer, watching my wife dance with our daughter, thinking, this is it. This is what all those years of work were for. I went to bed that night happy. Genuinely, deeply happy. Sunday morning, I woke up to a text message from Jenna the photographer. Mr. Brennan, can we meet today? Somewhere private. I found something in the photos. Something you need to see. Don't tell anyone. Please. I read it 3 times. Sat there in bed with Sarah sleeping beside me, her hair spread across the pillow, peaceful and beautiful, and thought, what could possibly be in the photos that I need to see in secret? I texted back, coffee shop on Main Street, 10 a.m. Sarah woke up as I was getting dressed. Where you going? Just meeting Dave for coffee. Dave was my old vice principal, retired same time I did. We met for coffee sometimes. Easy lie. Rolled right off my tongue. That should have been a red flag right there. The fact that lying to my wife of 41 years came so easily. Jenna was already at the coffee shop when I arrived. She looked nervous. Kept glancing around like she expected someone to jump out at her. Mr. Brennan, she said as I sat down. I almost didn't reach out. I thought maybe I was seeing things, you know? But then I looked closer and I thought you should know. Know what? She pulled out her laptop, opened it to a photo editing program. The screen filled with images from the party. Sarah laughing with her friends. Emma dancing. Marcus talking to someone by the bar. These are beautiful, I said. I don't see. Wait. Jenna clicked to a different photo. Zoomed in. This was taken at 7:43 p.m. You can see the timestamp here. This is your wife, right? By the dessert table, talking to that woman in the red dress. Yeah, that's Sarah. Jenna clicked to another photo. And this was taken at 7:44 p.m. 1 minute later. This is also your wife, right? The second photo showed a woman in the same blue dress Sarah wore. Same hairstyle. Same jewelry. But this woman was inside the house, visible through the kitchen window. And she was kissing Marcus. Not a friendly peck. Not a congratulatory hug. She was pressed against him. his hands on her waist, her fingers in his hair, kissing him like a wife kisses a husband. I stared at the screen. My brain couldn't process it. That's not possible. Sarah was outside the whole night. I would have seen her go inside. That's what I thought. So I checked all the photos. Jenna started clicking through images rapidly. 7:30. Your wife is greeting guests at the front door. 7:35. She's inside talking to Marcus through kitchen window. But wait, she's also outside pouring champagne. 7:40. She's outside laughing with friends. But she's also inside, alone with Marcus. 7:43. Outside with the woman in red. Inside, kissing Marcus. 7:45. Outside cutting the anniversary cake. Inside with her head on Marcus's shoulder. Click, click, click. Each image more impossible than the last. It's like she was in two places at once, Jenna said quietly. And then I noticed something else. She zoomed in on one of the inside photos, on the woman's left hand. See her ring finger? I leaned closer. The woman in the kitchen, the one kissing Marcus, wasn't wearing a wedding ring. Sarah never took off her ring. Never. Not in 41 years. And here, Jenna pulled up an outside photo. Sarah, clearly visible, wedding ring gleaming in the garden lights. Two women, both looking exactly like my wife. One with a ring, one without. Mr. Brennan. Jenna said carefully, "Does your wife have a twin sister?" The question hit me like a punch to the gut. "No," I said automatically. Sarah's an only child. Her parents died in a car accident before we got married. No siblings. She's told me that 1,000 times. But even as I said it, something shifted in my memory. Our wedding day. I'd been so nervous, so focused on not fainting at the altar that the details were fuzzy. But there had been someone standing next to Sarah. Maid of honor. I'd assumed it was a friend. Sarah had introduced us, but I couldn't remember the name, couldn't remember the face. What if it hadn't been a friend? "Can you send me these photos?" My voice sounded strange. Distant. Already did. Emailed them to you 5 minutes ago. "Mr. Brennan, I don't know what's going on, but..." She hesitated. My mom went through something similar. Financial abuse from family members. It started small and ended really bad. If something weird is happening, you need to protect yourself. I nodded numbly, stood up, thanked her, walked out to my car and just sat there for 20 minutes, staring at nothing. Two Sarahs, one kissing my son-in-law, one wearing a wedding ring, one not. "Does your wife have a twin sister?" I pulled out my phone, Googled Sarah Mitchell Boston with her maiden name, added siblings, added family, and there it was, an old newspaper article from 1978, local high school honor roll. Two names listed, Sarah Mitchell and Diana Mitchell, twin sisters. Diana, I sat in my car reading that article over and over. Twin sisters. Sarah and Diana Mitchell. Sarah had told me she was an only child. Told me for 41 years. Every time I asked about her family, she said they were gone. No siblings. No extended family. Just her. She'd lied. For 41 years, my wife had lied about having a twin sister. Why? I drove home in a daze. Sarah was in the kitchen, making lunch. She smiled when I walked in. "How was coffee with Dave?" "Fine," I said. "Just the usual." Another lie. We were building a house of lies, brick by brick. "Emma and Marcus are coming over for dinner tonight," Sarah said, chopping vegetables. "I thought I'd make that pasta you love. The one with..." "Sarah," I interrupted, "do you have a sister?" Her knife stopped mid-chop, just froze in the air. She didn't turn around, didn't move, just stood there with her back to me, absolutely still. "No," she said finally. "You know I don't. Why are you asking?" "Just curious. You never talk about your childhood, your family, because it's painful." She set down the knife, turned to face me. Her expression was sad, wounded. "My parents died. I had no one. Then I met you and finally had a family again. Why are you bringing this up?" She was good, really good. If I hadn't seen those photos, if I hadn't found that newspaper article, I would have believed her completely. No reason, I said, just thinking about the party, about family. She studied my face for a long moment, then smiled. Well, tonight we'll have family dinner, just us and the kids. The kids, Emma and Marcus, who'd been kissing someone who looked exactly like my wife. I went to my office, closed the door, pulled up my bank accounts online. The retirement account we'd been building for 40 years showed a balance of $847,000. Last time I checked, maybe 6 months ago, it had been $1.2 million, $350,000. Gone. I clicked through the transaction history. Withdrawals. Dozens of them. $20,000 here. $50,000 there. All authorized by joint account holder Sarah Brennan. Transferred to accounts I didn't recognize. My hands started shaking. I pulled up our savings account. Another $100,000 missing. The money market fund, nearly empty. The investment portfolio, half liquidated. In total, about $600,000 had vanished from our accounts in the last 8 months. Slowly, methodically, withdrawn and transferred while I trusted, while I smiled, while I went about my retired life thinking everything was fine. I wasn't prepared for what I found next. Our house. I pulled up the property records. The deed had been changed 3 months ago. The house was no longer in both our names. It was now owned by something called Brennan Family Trust, with Sarah listed as sole trustee. My house. The house I'd paid the mortgage on for 30 years. No longer mine. I opened my email. Found Jenna's message with the photos attached. Looked at them again, really looked at them. 2 women, one with a wedding ring, one without. One my wife, Sarah, one her twin sister, Diana. Taking turns, switching places. Sarah outside playing the devoted wife, while Diana was inside with Marcus, planning. What was the end game here? I heard Sarah's voice from downstairs. Tom, dinner will be ready in an hour. Can you set the table? Sure. I called back, but I didn't move. I sat at my computer, looking at bank statements and property records and photos of my wife's twin sister kissing my son-in-law, and I thought they were going to kill me. It was the only thing that made sense. Why else the elaborate deception? Why else drain the accounts? Transfer the house. Have a twin sister impersonate Sarah. They were positioning for my death. Making sure that when I died, from natural causes, from an accident, from whatever they planned, everything would already be in Sarah's name. No probate, no questions, no delays. Just a grieving widow inheriting everything while her daughter and son-in-law stood by supportively. And somewhere, a twin sister no one knew existed, waiting to take Sarah's place permanently. My phone buzzed. Text from Emma. Can't wait for dinner tonight. Marcus and I have some exciting news to share. Red heart. Exciting news. More papers for me to sign, probably. More assets to transfer. More steps in the plan to erase me from my own life. I grabbed my phone and did what Jenna's advice and what my gut was screaming at me to do. I called a lawyer. If this story is hitting you hard, if you've ever had that moment where you realized something was terribly wrong but couldn't quite see the full picture yet, do me a favor. Hit that like button and subscribe to Wilken Vengeance. Drop a comment and tell me where you're watching from. And if you've got your own story about family betrayal or financial manipulation, share it. You're not alone in this. None of us are. Your story matters. The lawyer's name was Richard Moss. 30 years of experience in family law and estate planning. His receptionist got me in that afternoon. I guess the panic in my voice conveyed urgency. I sat in his office at 3 p.m. and I told him everything. The photos, the twin sister, the missing money, the change deed, all of it. Richard listened without interrupting, made notes. His expression never changed, but I saw his jaw tighten when I mentioned the $600,000. Mr. Brennan, he said when I finished, what you're describing is systematic financial fraud and possible conspiracy. Your wife, using her access as joint account holder, has stolen over $500,000. The deed transfer is particularly concerning. Did you sign that document? I I don't know. Sarah handles all the paperwork. Sometimes she has me sign things. Tax documents, insurance forms. I just trusted her. That's what they count on. Trust. Richard pulled out a legal pad. Here's what we need to do immediately. First, I'm filing an emergency motion to freeze all remaining assets. Second, we're changing every password on every account you have. Third, we're documenting everything. The photos, the transfers, the deed change. And fourth, he paused. Fourth, we need to consider your immediate physical safety. You think they'd actually kill me? I think they've stolen $600,000 and gone to elaborate lengths to hide it, including using an imposter. People who do that are desperate. Desperate people do desperate things. He leaned forward. Do you have somewhere else you can stay tonight? Somewhere they wouldn't think to look. I have a friend, Dave, my old VP. He'd let me stay. Good. Pack a bag. Leave before dinner. Don't tell Sarah where you're going. And here, he pulled a small device from his desk drawer. Recording pen. Looks normal. Records audio. If you do have contact with them, record everything. Massachusetts is a one-party consent state. As long as you're part of the conversation, it's legal. I took the pen. It was heavier than it looked. One more thing, Richard said. We need to find Diana, your wife's twin. If she exists, if she's been impersonating Sarah, we need evidence. Photos, documents, anything proving she's real. How do I find her? Start with that newspaper article. Follow the trail. But be careful. If they realize you know about Diana, they'll accelerate whatever they have planned. I left Richard's office with the recording pen, a list of actions to take, and a sick feeling in my stomach. My wife of 41 years was stealing from me. My daughter was helping her. My son-in-law was involved. And somewhere out there, a woman who looked exactly like Sarah was waiting to step into her shoes permanently. I drove home slowly, rehearsed what I'd say, made a plan. Sarah was in the kitchen when I walked in. Pasta sauce simmering on the stove. Garlic bread in the oven. She smiled. Perfect timing. Emma just texted. They'll be here in 20 minutes. Actually, I said, I need to cancel. Dave called. He's having some kind of crisis. Wife left him. He's a mess. I need to go be with him tonight. A flicker of something crossed Sarah's face. Annoyance? Suspicion? But then she smiled. Oh no, poor Dave. Of course you should go. We'll do dinner another night. I might stay over. You know, guys' night. Couple beers, listen to him vent. Sure, whatever he needs. She kissed my cheek. The same kiss she'd given me 10,000 times. Tell Emma and Marcus when they get here. They'll understand. I went upstairs, packed a bag, heard Emma and Marcus arrive, heard Sarah explaining that I had to leave, heard Marcus say, that's too bad. We really needed to discuss those estate documents with him. Estate documents. Right on schedule. I came downstairs with my bag. Emma hugged me. Dad, give Dave our love. Tell him it gets better. I will, sweetheart. Marcus shook my hand. Firm grip, confident smile. We'll catch up this week. Tom, need to go over those papers I mentioned. Important stuff. Protecting your assets. Looking forward to it. I lied. I drove to Dave's house. He opened the door, took one look at my face, and said, What happened? I told him everything. We sat in his living room until midnight, going to photos Jenna sent, researching Diana Mitchell online, finding fragments of her life scattered across social media and public records. Diana Mitchell, divorced twice, bankruptcy 7 years ago, last known address, a trailer park in New Hampshire, no recent social media activity, no recent address on record, like she'd vanished, or gone underground, or been brought into a plan that required her to disappear from her own life so she could step into her sister's. This is insane, Dave said, staring at the photos of the two Sarahs. They really look identical. They're twins. Yeah, but, Tom, you've been married to Sarah for 41 years. You'd know if someone else was impersonating her, right? Would I? We'd been married so long, we'd fallen into routines. Sarah woke up before me. went to bed after me. We had dinner together but spent evenings separately. Her reading, me watching TV. We were comfortable, familiar. How closely had I been looking? If Diana had been practicing, studying Sarah's mannerisms, her speech patterns, her routines, how long could she fool me? How long had she already been fooling me? I need proof, I said. Richard said, I need evidence that Diana exists, that she's been there. How are you going to get that? Good question. I spent the next 2 days at Dave's house, coordinating with Richard, changing passwords, securing what little money was left in our accounts. Richard filed the emergency motions. The court moved fast, froze the accounts, blocked Sarah from making any more transfers, ordered a full accounting of all marital assets. Sarah called me 16 times in those 2 days. Left voicemails. Tom, what's going on? The bank called. They said our accounts are frozen. Did you do this? Call me back. We need to talk. I didn't call back. Emma texted, Dad, Mom is really upset. Please call her. Whatever's going on, we can work it out. Marcus sent an email. Tom, I think there's been a misunderstanding. Let's meet and discuss this rationally. No need for lawyers or courts. We're family. Family. The word felt like poison now. On the third day, Richard called. I found Diana. My heart stopped. Where? Staying at a motel outside Boston. She checked in 3 months ago under her own name. Tom, here's the interesting part. Your credit card paid for it. Small charges, $100 here and there, buried in your statements. You've been funding her hiding place. Can we prove it's her? I've got a PI watching the motel. He took photos. Want to see them? He emailed them over. I opened the attachment with shaking hands. There she was, Diana Mitchell, walking out of a motel room, heading to a car in the parking lot. She was wearing jeans and a hoodie, sunglasses, hair pulled back. But even in casual clothes, even trying to be inconspicuous, she looked exactly like Sarah. Exactly. Like Sarah. The PI followed her, Richard continued. She drove to your house, let herself in with a key, stayed for 2 hours while Sarah was out, then left before Sarah got home. She's been going to my house? My voice came out strangled. Looks like it. Multiple times over the past months. Tom, this is good. This is evidence. Proof of conspiracy, fraud, identity theft. Combined with the financial records, we have a strong case. What do I do now? Now! Richard said slowly, now you set a trap. The trap was simple. I called Sarah. Tom. She answered on the first ring. Where have you been? I've been so worried. What's going on with the bank accounts? I need to talk to you, I said. All of you. You, Emma, Marcus. Family meeting. Tonight at the house. 7 p.m. Of course. Yes. We can explain everything. It's all just a misunderstanding. I'll be there. I hung up, looked at Dave, who'd been listening. This is crazy. You're walking into a trap. No, I said. I'm setting one. I showed up at my house at 6:45 p.m. The recording pen was in my shirt pocket. My phone was in my other pocket, also set to record. Richard had arranged for the PI to be parked outside, documenting everyone who arrived. Sarah answered the door. She looked tired, stressed. Tom, thank God. Come in. Let's talk. Emma and Marcus were already in the living room. Emma hugged me. Dad, I don't understand what's happening. Why did you freeze the accounts? Why did you hire a lawyer? Sit down, I said. All of you. We sat, me in my chair, Sarah on the couch, Emma and Marcus beside her. A family meeting, just like old times. Except everything was a lie. I know about Diana, I said. The room went completely silent. Sarah's face didn't change. Diana? Your twin sister. The one you told me didn't exist. The one who's been impersonating you. The one kissing Marcus in our kitchen during our anniversary party. Emma went pale. Marcus's jaw tightened. Sarah just stared at me. I have photos, I continued. Bank records showing $600,000 transferred out of our accounts. property records showing you transferred our house into a trust without my knowledge. And I have a PI who followed Diana from her motel room, the one I've been paying for, to this house. Multiple visits while you were out. Still silence. So here's what's going to happen, I said, voice steady. You're going to tell me the truth. All of it. The plan, the money, Diana, everything. And you're going to do it right now. Sarah looked at Emma. Emma looked at Marcus. Marcus looked at the floor. Or, I continued, I take everything I have to police. And you all go to jail for fraud, theft, conspiracy, and whatever else the DA want to charge you with. Tom, Sarah started. The truth. Now. She took a deep breath. And then she told me everything. Diana had contacted her 2 years ago. Out of the blue, after decades of estrangement. Diana was broke, desperate, bitter about how her life had turned out while Sarah had everything. And she'd had an idea. She said we could be rich, Sarah said, her voice flat. Really rich. Not just comfortable. Rich if we worked together. The plan was simple. Slowly drain my accounts, transfer assets, and make it look like careful estate planning and investment management. Use Marcus's credentials as an investment banker to make it legitimate. Then, when enough money was secured, I'd have an accident. What kind of accident? My voice was ice. I don't know. Diana was handling that part. Something that looked natural. A fall. A heart attack. You're 67. It would be believable. And after I died, Diana would permanently take my place. I'd get the insurance money, the remaining assets, everything. Then I'd disappear. Leave Diana to live my life. She'd split everything with me, and we'd both start over somewhere new. And Emma and Marcus? Sarah glanced at our daughter. Emma figured out 6 months ago. Saw Diana here one day. We told her the truth. Offered her a cut if she kept quiet and helped us. I looked at my daughter, my only child. You knew they were planning to kill me? Emma's eyes filled with tears. Dad, it wasn't like that. We weren't really going to. Yes, we were, Sarah cut her off. That was always the plan. I'm sorry, Tom. I really am. But you've lived your life. You've had your career, your comfortable retirement. Diana and I deserve a chance, too. The recording pen captured every word. My phone captured every word. The PI outside captured every person who walked in and out. I stood up. Sarah, you're my wife. I loved you for 41 years. I gave you everything. I know, she said, and I'm taking it. I'm sorry, Tom, but I stopped loving you a long time ago. I nodded, reached into my pocket, pulled out the recording pen, and set on the coffee table between us. I recorded this entire conversation, every confession, every detail of your plan to murder me and steal my money. It's all on tape. And tomorrow morning, I'm taking it to the district attorney. The blood drained from Sarah's face. You can't. Marcus started to stand. Sit down, I said. I'm not done. Diana's at the motel right now. The police are probably picking her up as we speak. And Richard, my lawyer, has filed for emergency divorce, asset seizure, and restraining orders against all of you. I walked to the door, turned back to look at them one last time. 41 years, I said. You threw away 41 years for money. I hope it was worth it. I left, got in my car, drove away from the house I'd lived in for 35 years, and never looked back. Listen, if you've made it this far in this story, you know this isn't just entertainment. This is real life for thousands of people. Financial abuse by family members is more common than you think. If this resonates, if you know someone going through something similar, don't just scroll past. Subscribe to Wilken Vengeance. Share this video. And drop a comment. Tell me your truth. Have you ever discovered that the people you trust were planning your destruction? Your voice matters. Your story could help someone else recognize the warning signs. The arrests happened fast. Diana was picked up at the motel that night. She tried to claim she was Sarah. Showed a fake ID, played a confused wife. But fingerprints don't lie. Neither does DNA. She was charged with conspiracy to commit murder, fraud, identity theft, and about a dozen other crimes. Sarah was arrested 2 days later. Fought it first. Claimed I had misunderstood, that she'd never seriously planned to kill me, that it was just talk. But the recording said otherwise. Her own words, clear and cold. Yes, we were. That was always the plan. Emma cut a deal, testified against everyone in exchange for reduced charges. She got probation and community service. I haven't spoken to her since. She sends letters sometimes. They go straight into the trash. Marcus lost his banking license. Pleaded guilty to fraud and conspiracy. Got 7 years. Sarah and Diana both got 15 years. Conspiracy to commit murder carries heavy time. The divorce was finalized in 6 months. I got the house. What was left of our savings? About $400,000 after legal fees. And my freedom. I sold the house. Too many memories. Too many ghosts. Moved to a small town in Maine. Bought a cottage on the water. Quiet. Peaceful. Safe. I wake up every morning, make coffee, sit on my porch watching the sunrise, and I think about how close I came. Another few weeks, maybe another month, and I would have had that accident Sarah and Diana planned. I'd be gone, and they'd be splitting my life insurance money and congratulating themselves on a successful con. But Jenna the photographer saw something wrong. She trusted her instincts. She called me, and that one act of bravery saved my life. I sent her $10,000 as a thank you. She cried when she called me, said she didn't need it. I told her she'd earned it 1,000 times over. I'm 68 now, living on a fixed income, modest savings, a small cottage, but it's mine, really mine. Nobody's stealing from me, lying to me, plotting against me. Some people say I should try to reconnect with Emma, that she was manipulated by her mother and Marcus, that she deserves another chance. Maybe they're right. Maybe someday I'll feel differently. But not today. Not while I can still hear her voice saying, "We weren't really going to," before Sarah cut her off with the truth. Emma knew. She knew they were planning to kill me. And she said nothing, did nothing, chose money over her father. That's not something I can forgive. Not yet. Maybe not ever. I've started dating again. Nothing serious. Just coffee dates with women I meet at the bookstore or the farmer's market. Women my age who've lived full lives and aren't looking for someone to bankroll their retirement. It's nice, different, real. Last week, I got a letter from Sarah, forwarded through Richard's office. She's appealing her sentence. Wants me to write a letter to the parole board about her good character and our happy marriage. I read it once, then burned it in my fireplace. There's no going back, no reconciliation, no forgiveness. Just forward. Just this new life I'm building slowly, carefully, with people who see me as a human being instead of a bank account with a pulse. And every night before I go to sleep, I think about that moment in the coffee shop when Jenna showed me those photos. 2 Sarahs, one inside, one outside. The impossible made possible by betrayal and greed. I think about how easily I could have dismissed it, how I could have told Jenna she was mistaken, that she'd somehow double expose the images, that there was a rational explanation. But I didn't. I trusted my gut. I investigated. I protected myself. And I survived. That's the lesson, I think. When something feels wrong, when the people you love start acting strange, when money goes missing and explanations don't quite add up, trust yourself. Investigate. Protect yourself. Don't wait until it's too late. Because the people who love you don't plot your murder. They don't steal from you. They don't lie for 41 years about having a twin sister. The people who do those things, they're not family. They're predators. And they're counting on you being too trusting, too loyal, too loving to see the truth. Don't be. Be smart. Be careful. Be suspicious when suspicion is warranted. And if you find out your wife has a twin sister who's been impersonating her while they drain your life savings and plan your death, record everything. Call a lawyer and get the hell out. That's what saved my life. And maybe, just maybe, it'll save yours too.